Well, hey there, it's Kim Hughes, and today we are going to talk about how to make an offer in today's market. It is kind of a crazy market that we're in right now, being July of 2020 during a major pandemic, etc. So the real estate market is doing great in pretty much everywhere in the United States. There are some markets that have not been doing a lot, just because they're resort markets, secondary market, etc. So this will be something, if you are in a slow market, this will help you when your market opens up. If you're in one of those seller markets, this is the time to be listening to how to make an offer and how to teach your buyer how to make that offer that's going to get accepted. So stay tuned. Okay, so in the world that we live in right now, it is a very challenging time for a lot of reasons, but fortunately, real estate is doing very well. And one of the reasons is because the low interest rates, and buyers are just taking advantage of it, which they should. It's a great time to buy a home in July of 2020. So some of the things that you can do as a real estate agent to help your buyer understand what it means to be in a bidding war. How can they get their offer accepted? The things that need to really resonate with the seller, okay? So we're going to give you 5 tips to help you with this. So the first thing that we want to do is make sure that you communicate with the listing agent. That means that when you schedule the appointment, you try to find out as much as you can that you can't get out of the MLS. Research that property in the MLS, then talk to your listing agent. Is there anything that we need to know that the seller is, considering? And, just kind of when you go on that showing appointment, really go through that house with a fine-tooth comb with your buyer. Point out everything that you can possibly point out, even if it's obvious. It could be, this is carpet, this is tile. What are you thinking? Are you going to want to remove the floors and put in new floors? Are you going to want to paint the walls, knock out walls? What is it that you want to do to make this home your home? And then communicate with your listing agent on the feedback of the home. Whether it's good or bad, you still need to give the feedback. Everybody can say, oh, it's a nice home. Oh, they have a beautiful home, but that does not get the property sold. So when you are talking to that buyer, find out what it is they really liked about that property, what they didn't like, and then communicate with that agent and put that showing feedback in the system and make it a priority to do that within the day, at least by the end of the day. That means if you have to go in there at 9 o'clock at night, you do that. That impresses your listing agent, it's going to impress the seller, because when a buyer agent takes the time to post feedback, that helps the agent and the seller understand what they need to do if they are not able to get that property sold quickly, or it could be just a matter of letting them know what features of the home are interesting to that buyer. All right, and then also do everything that you would want an agent to do for you if you were the listing agent. Communicate, talk to the agent. Really ask them, how can we, make a good offer on this home? What's going on? And then you're building a relationship with that agent as well, because that's important. You want to build a relationship with other real estate agents in your market. That way y'all can kind of feed off of each other of what's going on and maybe work together on multiple deals. And when a listing agent is got a good relationship with you, as a buyer agent, they may contact you when they have a listing that's getting ready to go on the market, okay? As a buyer agent, you might be able to tell that agent, hey, if you have a listing coming up that meets this criteria, I have a buyer interested. But then you could be the listing agent doing the same thing for another buyer agent. So always think, how do you want that agent to treat you, and then you do that, okay? Because it is a very important role that you take as an agent to understand what other agents are doing in the market that you're in. So the second one is to request that your buyer has their pre-approval letter. And we all know to do this. We know to do this. A lot of agents just overlook it, as well as the buyer representation agreement. Those are the two things that agents just assume. And don't ever assume. You know not to do that. So always get the pre-approval letter showing the proof of funds, and then make sure that it's the most recent 30 days. When you make an offer to your seller on behalf of your buyer, and you have that has a ton of weight to it, as you know. So make sure you have that. Make sure you have all your ducks in a row when you start looking at property, because you could look at 5 homes in one day, and then at the end of the day, the buyer may go, you know what, I want that second home. Let's make an offer on that home. Well, all the buyer's due diligence has been done. So you can make a contract and say, hey, we are ready to go. We've got our pre-approval letter. We've got A, B, and C. This is why they want the home. Maybe even have the buyer write a note to the seller of what they found in the home that made them make that decision to choose their home over all the others. And it could be something very simple of, you just had a beautiful backyard. We are looking forward to having a garden as well. We're excited to have, the beautiful flowers, or whatever. Whatever the buyer found that appealed to them might make a difference to the seller, because the seller may take a lot of pride in what they've done to the property, and it's being recognized. So there you go. Then the third thing is ask your buyer the questions of their interest. So as I was just asking, when they were writing a letter to the seller, ask them, as you're looking at the home, what is it that's interesting to you of this home? And give us that feedback. What's the level of motivation? Is it just going to be a place for them to live, and maybe it's just a little starter home? Or is it just because of the convenience? They're not in love with the home, but it's going to serve their purpose. Or is this their dream home where they just fell in love with the neighborhood, the house, and everything else? That makes a big difference. And then you can give them the advice to make sure that they get that home. So the buyers will be a little bit more eager to get that home if it's the home of their dreams. But if it's just a home to live in and it doesn't serve any other purpose, then maybe don't go into making a bidding war and all that stuff. Maybe there's a better home for them in a different area that that will suit them, where they don't have to be so anxious about, are they going to get the home? Now if it's the dream home, that's a whole nother ballgame. So then research the value. Really get in there and start researching that property and know what that value is. Know what, if you're going into a bidding war and you're going to make an offer above the listing price, you got to make sure that it supports the appraisal, because if the appraisal comes back and it doesn't appraise for the amount that the buyer put on the home, then now you've got a problem, because the buyer's got to come up the extra money. So make sure you know the value of the home, you know the activity of the home, you've talked to the listing agent in detail about the home. These quick phone calls to other agents and rushing your buyers to make a decision and everything is really not in their best interest, and it's not in your best interest. So let's make sure that we really focus on what you're doing for the buyer. And then educate them. Tell them, how to buy a home. Maybe you have a video series that you give them that they can go to your website, and maybe it's private, and you've done a video series that gives them the steps of buying a home. I have a lot of agents that I work with that do this, and the first thing that they do is they tell their buyers, you need to go watch these 5 videos on how to buy a home. And that helps your buyer become more educated, more excited, and feels like that you have really gone beyond the call of duty in helping them buy a home. And that will stand out, and that will save you a lot of headaches. It will save your buyers a lot of headaches, and everybody can get really focused on what's going on. My son is in the middle of all this. He has looked at so many homes with his wife, and they have put I think 4 offers on 4 different homes, and each time it went into a bidding war. It got crazy. They pulled out because they took the advice that I'm giving y'all, is you do not pay more for a home than the appraisal unless you just really want that home. Now, they got lucky. They found a home. They made an offer on it the same day before the bidding wars started. So the seller accepted their offer, because even though the listing agent could have said, you know what, let's hold off because we're going to get a lot of offers and then we'll get you some more money. Where the listing agent told the seller, this is your first offer. We can, of course, wait and see if we get others, but this is a shoo-in. This is a real deal. And so everybody walked away by the end of the day very happy. And so that's what I'm advising. You don't have to get into a bidding war. If your listing agent and your seller are on the same page and you're the first one in to bring an offer, the listing agent, if he's looking out for your client's best interest, yes, of course, everybody wants to make more money, but your offer is on the table. Nobody else is on the table. So try to be the first and the only. So really looking at your properties and knowing what's in the MLS on a daily basis really will help you when you work with your buyers. So those are the 5 tips that we're going to give you. I'm sure we could give you a lot more. If you have any questions about, bidding wars and how to help your buyers in a seller's market, etc., post a comment below. We'll be more than happy to answer your question. Or you can visit my website, kimhughes.com. You can email me, text. You can find me on social media. And we can have conversations about this because this is a huge topic. And I also would like to invite you to the Facebook group that I have that's private. It's called Real Estate Success Tools, where we have conversations about everything that's going on in the real estate market today, tips and tools that are really going to benefit you. Plus, we give you some free social media marketing post. We give you a couple of blogs. We give you tools that can help you in your business. So take a look at that, see if that's something for you. And I really do appreciate you watching this video today. And it really would mean a lot to me if you would give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you would like to subscribe to be the first to know when I put out new videos, I would appreciate that. It always helps me with my YouTube channel. So there you go. So thank you so much, and you can read the blog that we're talking about today over on my website as well. The link is below. And if you need anything, just reach out. We'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.